Hi, my name is Keith Nitka. I'm the Battleship Operations Manager here at Battleship Wisconsin. I want to thank you for joining me today on this Whiskey Wednesday virtual adventure. One of the questions we get asked a lot here is how does sailors find their way from one part of the ship to the other, especially when they get on board for the first time. People don't give it any real thought, but we are a floating city at sea. We have everything amenity-wise that you could possibly think of, including fire stations, a police station, the post office, the doctor, the dentist, and all those things. But you can't find anything without understanding the Bullseye system. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to talk about the Bullseye system. Today in the United States Navy, this is the Bullseye system that's used. It started in the Navy after World War II. Prior to World War II, it was similar, but it was very different, and it wasn't as precise as this is now. So this first line in the Bullseye, and it's called a bullseye because there's this big yellow placard on the bulkhead. And in every space, no matter where the space is, it always has a bullseye. And that is our address. Like you have an address at home where you get mail, this is the address. 01, zeros in this case are called O's, so 01, TAC, dash marks or minus signs are called TACs. 95, TAC 3, TAC Lima. 01, TAC 95, TAC 3, TAC Lima. So to break this down, 01 means that we're on the first level above the main deck. The main deck and all decks below are called decks. The first level above the main deck and all levels subsequently above it are called levels. So levels go up, decks go down. So by looking at the O, that tells me I'm on a level, so I immediately know that I am above the main deck. 95. The ship is built with frames. The frame happens every 4 feet, starting at the very front of the ship, and then 4 feet back is frame number 1. 4 feet back is frame number 2, so on and so forth. 95 means that this room, the front of this room, which is on the other side of the camera, that bulkhead is frame 95. So we're 95 frames back from the front of the ship. 3. That tells us which side of the ship that we're on. When we're on the middle of the ship, or when we're in the middle of the ship, that room would be a 0. 3 means that we're the second space to the right of the center line facing forward. So we're 2 spaces to the right or 2 spaces starboard on the ship. If it was a 4, we'd be 2 spaces to the left of center or on the port side of the ship. This last is not a number, of course, it's a letter Lima. L stands for living space, which means that this area that we're in now would be a living space. There are many different classifications of spaces depending on what the space is used for. If it was a T, it would be a trunk. If it would be an M, it would be for ammunition storage, and so on and so forth. So 01, TAC 95, TAC 3, TAC Lima, that tells me exactly where I am on board this ship. 95. 95 means that this is the very front of the room frame-wise. 99 is this bulkhead here. This is the 99th frame on board the ship. So what this line tells us, 95, TAC 99, if we take the difference between 95 and 99, which is 4, multiply that by 4, because every 4 feet is a frame, that'll tell us how big or how long this space is, 16 feet from bulkhead to bulkhead. This last line, TAC 5, S5. This tells us who's responsible for this room. We're in the captain's cabin, so what this tells me is the 5th Division in supply is responsible for maintaining this room. So if there's a problem in this room, there's water leaking on the deck, or something's happened in the overhead, one of the lights are out, what have you, everybody knows that S5 is responsible for this room, and then they can take care of the issue. Now, as I said, this was an after World War II sort of thing. Prior to World War II, the ship was broken down into sections. There were typically 3 sections. On really old ships, there were 4 sections, and they were broken down by letters. A, Alpha, B, Bravo, C, Charlie, and then D, Delta, if it was a really old ship. Battleship Wisconsin is a World War II ship, but that would have just been of the 3 zones. Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie did not have a Delta. Alpha starts at the bullnose, and it works its way back to the very forward bulkhead of the boiler or engine or engineering spaces. So that's A. B is everything that is encompassed inside of the engineering spaces, and then C is from the last bulkhead in the engineering spaces all the way to the fantail. So there would have been an A, a B, and a C. Where we have an 01, this would have actually read A. Where the 95 is, they didn't do frames, they broke it down in rooms from the front to the back in the section. And it's similar to this, the 3. So where we have an A here, this now would have been 01, and then next to that would have been the room that this is. Now we're on the starboard side of the ship, which would have been an odd number, so this number would have been 01, let's say 93, because we're moving that far back because we're really close to the B section at that point. The L is still the L. Those letters down there at the end of the TAC number they stayed the same all through the transitions. So where we are, 01, TEC 95, TEC 3, TEC Lima, that tells me exactly where I am, up and down on the ship, side to side on the ship, front and back of the ship. That's really important for 2 reasons. If I'm at my berthing, which is 107 TEC 3 TEC Lima, and I get called to the captain's cabin, 01 TEC 95 TEC 3 TEC Lima, I need to know how to get from there to here, and I understand the Bullseye system, I can find my way there. More importantly, however, is for the fire departments on board the ship. This tells us exactly where the issue is. If there's a fire in the corner, we have flooding because there's somebody punched a hole in the wall, they'll need to know where exactly they need to go, and this number is going to tell them where that is so they can get there as quickly as possible and contain the problem, fix the problem. So I want to thank you for joining me today on this Whiskey Wednesday virtual adventure. Stay tuned. We're going to continue on down the line with City at Sea programming. And when you get a chance, I hope you come and visit us here on board the Battleship Wisconsin. All the operations staff would love to talk to you about the Bullseye and many other different things on board the ship. Thank you. Have a really good day.